Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's a good thing we do this show with eternal mics in our computers, and we don't have mics that come down from the top of the arena. It's a good thing we don't have mics that we have to hold after the people that went before you went. If we did, we'd have to wear oven mitts to touch the mics after what them boys just did. That was some funny stuff. KG, I don't know how much you saw it. Them jokers had the little joint where somebody was singing Be Like Mike when they was talking about LeBron James. They had the cooler that I made where it's got all the LeBron jerseys as the front of the cooler. So it's got the LeBron first Cavs, LeBron six Heat, LeBron second Cavs, the LeBron Lakers, the LeBron, what you call it? So Lee Ice gave 5 reasons why he didn't like the LeBron thing. And it was one reason for every jersey. And they had the little kid do the LeBron James, LeBron James. So they was getting it in. So now we got to follow that up. And it's no way. I got nothing to worry about because I know I got my boy with me. We're going to do this thing. It's the Sideline Junkies. It's the network. It's the People's Network. It's a network that gives you what you want when you want it. So welcome into the show. If you live in the East, if you live in the West, if you live in the North, if you live in the South, it don't matter because we all here as long as you click like and subscribe on YouTube. And then tomorrow, if you missed it, you can, or well, actually, if you're looking at this, you ain't gonna miss it. But if you want to check it out again, go back tomorrow, get the audio version. That's what we here for. Hey, it don't get no better than this, baby. Sideline Junkies, Tuesday Night Flight. I'm the Midnight Rider. This is the big guy, KG. Now, we got some things on the list, and then we got some things that's not on the list that's going to be on the list by the time we get going. All right? Give us some time, and we're going to be all right. We're going to be okay. In the words of Dusty Rhodes, we're going to get funky like a monkey, baby. With that being said, tonight's agenda, real quick before you break it down, Tuesday Night Flight. We got some information that KG want to give y'all. So we're going to start the show with that, but hold tight because we're not going to get there yet. We got MLB with MR. I'm a little nervous about this segment because I don't remember the questions that he wanted me to look up. So we're going to have fun. We'll be off the cuff. Then we got NFL with KG. We might get into the Miles report depending on how much time we have. Also, I'm sorry. What am I doing? I'm messing up. We also got to get love because the mic wasn't sent to them cold. Because Chew Tom Sarah, Scooter, and Matty Ice last night with their show talking about are we being priced out. And I don't know if you saw the nature of that conversation and the level that Matty Ice went to where he was breaking down every sport and the cost of every sport and then the playoffs. Man, whoo, 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 whoo. So again, Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. If you don't know and you stick around long enough, God dang it, you will know. Maddie says we have a great group of hosts. If you ask me, I definitely agree with you, Maddie. Definitely agree with you. But I know my boy, I know my guy. He got some things he want to get off his chest this afternoon or this evening, I should say. So I'm gonna let you pull it up. I'm gonna let you bring this in. But first and foremost, before we even do that, big guy, how are you feeling, dog?
I'm awake and I'm alive. That's all I can say.
Hey, it's all good. Because every time you put breath in your body, you got another chance to be great, baby. That's all we got. You know what it is? Yesterday already happened. Tomorrow's too far away, KG. All you got is right now. What you got for me right now? 7:56 p.m. July 28th. What you got for me right now, dog? And with that being said, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Well, I appreciate that rousing introduction. I got to start this off a little sad here. July 27th, 1993. That was the 33rd anniversary yesterday. For those that don't know what that means, 33 years ago, young talent, up and coming, Reggie Lewis passed away 33 years ago. And what's crazy is there's still questions of what caused his illness, what caused his death. There's still things that have been unanswered for 33 years. And I always reference his death as the summer, probably the worst summer that I ever had as a child, was summer '93. And it all starting with the championship game, Michigan losing to North Carolina. Less than a month later, I lose an uncle on June 4th. While we're preparing for his funeral, I lose one of my favorite players in Drazen Petrovic. I lose a great aunt a couple of weeks after that. Then I lose another one. Which crazy thing is, the night that they announced Reggie Lewis' death at 10 o'clock news, I was sitting in the emergency room of PG Hospital. And Dwayne's mom, my Aunt Kitty, she had burnt her arm with some hot grease. And she had to get it looked at and bandaged up. And we were sitting there. And the next day was one of my great aunt's funerals. And it came across, and I remember moving up in front of the TV like, how did this happen? You know, it's one of those things that shook you, but it's one of them things you'll never forget. And so every year I try to bring up his name and remember him because of the talent that he was. And I'll say this, I always call it one of the worst summers. I'm sorry, that's the worst summer I ever had as a kid. And I was putting things into perspective yesterday as I was driving home. And I said, man, that summer was pretty bad for my grandmother. She lost a son and two sisters during that summer. And it's just like, man, damn. And what's crazy is yesterday, while, you know, thinking of all this, thinking about how I wanted to attack this and put it out there for the people, I found out that one of my mentors from high school, one of my ROTC teachers, instructors, you know, kept me on the straight and narrow. Master Sergeant Carl Williams passed away. And that really, really rocked me because, you know, you don't expect to see that. And then you kind of just get a shock of it through Facebook. So it's just one of them days, man, one of them times. So if you have the opportunity, shoot a jumper for Reggie Lewis tonight. Thank you, Midnight Rider.
No, let's kind of sit here for a second. Just, I mean, that's a tough time because what we're gonna do, we're gonna let this sit, let it go, and then we'll go a break, and then we're gonna come back and pick it up. But you always talk about that, and first and foremost, always gotta tell you, you know me, you know us, you know. There are always times where we have to say what we feel because if we don't say what we feel, then it's gonna eat us up inside, right? And I knew something was up just all day today, but I couldn't get to you because I was busy. I had so much stuff coming at me at work, so I kind of got it from the rundown. I knew the rundown was short, all good. But I know you, and I know us. We got a saying. We got a saying, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So, I think Lee Ice is trying to. So, I'm trying to see if I can give him some time. I'm not sure where he wants to go with this, but before we transition, I want to just see what he says, and then gets us his other comment on the other side of this. You know, he's a little bit older, so we gotta allow our senior citizens of the team a little bit more time when they try to jump into the link that we send them. But Reggie Lewis, 93. I didn't know it was 93. I could have swore it was earlier, but that makes more sense now. Because I always think, you know what it is? I know why I mess it up. Because I always hear the bias. If we had bias and Reggie, I think it was 87, you'd have lost in 6. But that's the conversation that always happens. So I don't put their timelines that far apart. Somehow in my mind, they are closer in nature because of the experience. Um, but it was sky is the limit for Reggie. He was going to be one of those guys that, um, honestly, I think he could have taken Boston to some higher heights. Um, Even with the absence of Bird and company, I think he could have been an integral part. And if they just found the right pieces to go around him, I think they spent their time trying to replace him instead of having to build around him. Um, you know what? Let's go ahead and take this break. If Lee Ice jumps in, um, I'll see what he wants. We'll see what he wants to talk about. But let's go ahead and do. Hold on, I'll pick the break because I don't want you picking WrestleManiac stuff. Um, Let me see what we got here. What's today? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So we don't have Wednesday. We got what's Thursday's show title? If you see do the Thursday night throwdown. Oh, I
You
see
got
it now. Go ahead. You can hit it.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. That is, I guess that's technically the next show that's coming up is the Thursday Night Throwdown, 7:15 Thursdays. These two guys, I'm the Midnight Rider. He's the big guy, KG. And what we're going to do is just give you some, I don't even know. Oh, we got Mount Rushmore. We got to figure out what our Mount Rushmore is for this week. I had something. We did Cullen commentary last week. I think we've already done play-by-play, guys. We did ESPN. Um, Guys, pay attention for Thursday morning. We'll drop the new subject for Thursday night, and then jump in with a 7:15, and let's enjoy it. Let's make it do what it do because that's what we're here for. But let's go back because I want to kind of recreate this scene because we talked about the hot mics. We talked about the mask, the baton being passed from Matty Ice and Company to Lee Ice and Company. And now Lee Ice and Company is passing the baton to us. And it's only right that the only problem is tomorrow night the Nothing But Net is on a summer break. So we won't have the mic handed off directly till Thursday to the Thursday Night Throwdown. But there's a great comment, and I want to go back to it because I don't want to toot my own horn or toot our own horn, but we have a great group of hosts, if you ask me. I think we have a great chemistry. I think you put anybody with anybody. Like if there was like what is it like WrestleMania? Like you know how wrestling where they like change the rosters up. You know what I'm saying? Like this week you on Raw, this week you on SmackDown. I even think if you change that up, you still get dope shows because we do dope shit. I mean, And in the words of Lee Ice, if you don't know, now you know, because that's what it is. I mean, we give you great content. I believe we give great content, and now we're giving it to you 7 days a week. And all I'm saying is just just come in, enjoy, put your troubles to the side, as Lee Ice say. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know if your dog made you mad. I don't know if your cat made you mad. Your parrot might have cussed you out. I don't know. First of all, you shouldn't touch your parrot those words if you didn't want to get cussed out. But that's a whole nother thing. What we got here is a situation where we are here to entertain you. We're gonna make you put your troubles to the side. All right? Because you can't, you don't, ain't no need to carry those troubles today for this next, what we got, probably like the next hour. Oh, sit back, relax, let your troubles be your troubles, but it's okay because you can deal with them later. This is your escape. Come on down and party on down with us. Let's go. With that being said, I'm gonna turn this over. You know what? I got this. All right, where we going next, dog? What you want? What you feel like? You want to do MLB? You want to do? You want to talk WNBA? We had kind of talked WNBA the other night on Sunday morning because they got their All-Star game. I don't think they're back off a break yet.
Okay. I hadn't seen anything, but I just make sure it's always on the slate.
No, I know, because it's my girl Miles and company.
We can what you fancy? MLB or NFL?
You know what? I'll take it from here. So let's go. Let's, as we say, we're talking baseball with MR. So there we go. We talking baseball. Okay, Brian says the WNBA is playing tonight. All right, so let's see if we can get some games up. I didn't bet today, Brian. If you can't tell, I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of on a betting freeze right now. But we also got the Madala tournament for tennis. Used to be the Leg Mason. Used to be something else. Used to be the Any Mini Mighty Mo. Soon, like in 2 years, it's gonna be a symbol because they're gonna run out of banks to sponsor the tournament. But it's a joint that used to be at the Carter Barron.
Yeah, I
So
remember
that's
the Leg
going on right
Mason.
now. And I know, you know what? Let me start there. Whole different thing. Let's go tennis. So tonight, I know Venus Williams is playing. We ain't got to have a banner for it. I'm just gonna take this off and go Tuesday Night Flight. So tonight in DC, if you are not familiar, or in the words of KG, if you're uninitiated in the things that happen in the city, every year as a lead up to the U.S. Open, DC has this hard court tournament called it's called now the Madabi Bank Tournament. It's changed bank names over the last several years. Um, this year they normally do a 48 player field, but this year they shrunk it down to 32. Um, so when you read the clipping, because you're going to read the paper tomorrow and see that Francis Tiafo lost in the first round, don't think of it as the first round. Think of this 32 as, think about it like this. If he was in one of the Grand Slam tournaments, it starts at 128, right? So we go from 128 to 64 to 32. So he will be in the third round of any normal tournament. But because this is a smaller tournament, his first round is technically a third round of a Grand Slam. Does that make sense while I'm saying this? All right. So he loses. I know Venus Williams is playing tonight. I know Naomi Osaka. I know she plays tomorrow, and she plays tomorrow night. I know in DC on my side of town, we just had a bad rainstorm, but that kind of just went over us. So I don't know if that's going to affect them tonight and what they get in tonight. And if it does, then more than likely most of that stuff is getting made up tomorrow. But it's not, you get stars, but you don't get all the stars. It's a local tournament. Like I said, it's really, a lot of people use this as their preliminary to get, because you've been playing on, the last time you played on the hard court was the Australia Open, right? You go do the French. I think the French is next, and you play on clay. Then you play Wimbledon, another soft surface. So now you got to kind of ramp yourself up because the speed of the ball coming off of the surface changes when you're playing in this situation. So now you got a new speed that you got to see the ball at, and you got to get used to that. You got to ramp up because you're on a hard surface at the Arthur Ashe courts in New York. So just you got to be careful, pay attention to that. That's all I'm gonna say on that part. But that's going on this week in the city. If you are in DC, I know they still have some tickets available, but they don't have much. Most of it's probably standing room only. And if you're smart, those are the best tickets to take because you can walk around the facility a little bit. So you can go in expecting to see like Venus play. But say you got to leave before Venus actually plays, you can probably walk around and see her on the practice courts. So a lot of people see the players on the practice courts and watch them warm up or get themselves ready. So that's just another neat feature of this tournament is everything is all in one area up at the Carter Barron. So that's kind of our rough tennis talk. Tennis. All right, go ahead. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go MLB with me. So I'm gonna let you lead this from here.
Well, I got a couple of questions MLB wise. You know, we just had the All-Star break 2 weeks ago.
All right.
The Nats, it seemed like they doing the Texas two-step. They take 2 steps forward, take 1 step back. They're 54 and 53, sitting at 500. I mean, this team can't get out of its own way when they're at home. They're 22 and 33 at home, 32 and 20 on the road. And it looks like they got the same amount of games. They might have more away games than home games left because they didn't play 52 on the road and 55 at home. So what is it, again, about them not being able to win at home? I mean, what's the deal? It's hot outside. The ball is jumping. What's the problem?
You're talking about a young team, KG. I mean, when you have young teams, sometimes they do things that you can't explain. It doesn't make sense. You know, it doesn't make sense that this team is leading baseball in runs scored. It doesn't make sense that I think they're also leading the league in runs allowed. You know, it's the gaps they have in terms of like more home runs than the other team. I think they outpacing the next team by somewhere between like 5 and 6 home runs. They're outpacing the league in stolen bases. So they can do some things right. The problem is you can't get right side. When you can't pitch in important situations. Last night they got the pitching, and what they do, they couldn't get the hitting. So it's like you get one, you can get with this or you can get with that. You can't get both for some reason in certain situations. And most of the time it does happen at home. But the good thing is, I think they get out of the area. I think they get the Braves and the Phillies. Hopefully those are both road series. They got another 8 games. So the scenario is this. You know, I think I said this one of our last couple of shows. I said the problem with this team is they're going to be either 3 under or 3 over and somewhere in the middle, but they shouldn't get outside of that range. They should be in that range the way they play baseball. They have some pitching, not enough pitching. So everybody keeps saying, "Oh, we should make that run. We should do that." You just when you get in the playoff series and you're facing, if you get the Dodgers and you're facing their top 3, say it's Shohei, I think it's Yakamoto, and let's just say it's Glasnow. I mean, unless your bats come out to play, like unless you catch them off, that's a heavy hole. It seems like they can hit certain pitches, but they can't hit the good ones. So you're climbing up a hill both ways, barefoot, with snow on the ground and ice under the snow, if that makes sense. So you gotta be careful with like the expectations. I love what they're doing, but you gotta measure your expectations right now because you're not good enough, but you're not bad enough.
See, I understand where you're coming from, and that is hard because looking at the standing, we're just looking at the numbers. They're 8.5 games off of first. The Braves are 62-44. 8.5 games, man. You know, a slide from the Braves. The Braves are 6-4 in their last 10, so are the Nationals. But the Phillies are 3-7. And they're 3 games back off the Phillies. So get those 3 games on the Phillies and then worry about the Braves. But
what you want in the
you
next?
Really want that?
So what you want? So let's see. Tonight we say they got, because they don't have a break until like a week from now. I think they play like 17 straight is the word I heard. So you get Atlanta, Philly back to back for 8 games. I think what you want to do is you want to stick to what you've been doing. You want to stick around if you can. You want to get a bunch of two out of threes, or in this scenario, maybe some 3 out of 4s. You know, but in the worst case scenario, you come out of these next 17 games like 9-8 or 10-7. You still right there hanging around where you're supposed to be at. You still fighting in your weight class. Because I don't think this team is they're not over their skis when they play against teams that aren't the division leaders. Like, I like their chances against anybody outside of the Dodgers and Milwaukee. And I say the Braves. But I like them against Philly because they've shown that they can play with Philly. The only problem is they couldn't close Philly out for that 1-3 game set. I don't worry about them against everybody else. I think everybody else falls back to them. Like, they on equal footing with everybody else but the division leaders in my mind. I don't know what comments are, but I see we got a couple. Anything relevant?
Yeah, Maddie says the deal they made with Boston was good, but like I said on the show, any team in the NL still has to get by LA. Not many teams that can, and I agree with that, Maddie. I think the only team in the NL that can actually battle LA and give them a run for their money is the Brewers.
I totally disagree.
I felt that way last year.
I totally disagree. I think Philly's got a shot because Philly's got 3 starters that they can throw up there. I think Atlanta has a shot with their pitching. Like, we just saw the Dodgers struggle in the World Series. The Blue Jays took them to 7. Like, they just ain't walking up here and just walking through people like hot knife through butter. It's just not happening right now. And it's not because they aren't that good. It's because these other teams aren't that bad. And pitching is the greatest equalizer in the world. Pitching is like hot peppers. Hot peppers will make pickers like pressure. And pressure will make a monkey eat a hot pepper is what I meant to say. But it's the same way. Like, you get in these type series, all it takes is one time. And it looks like Flying Brian says the Lynx and the Tempo are in the first quarter. And then we got Clark in prime time. So he shouldn't have said that because now my TV goes to find me, Olivia Miles, to see what my girl doing. But on the baseball side of that, what you're talking about, I just feel like in a 7-game series, anything can happen, especially in baseball. I mean, who thought that, for a ball hitting to the corner in Yankee Field, the guy hits the cutoff man, misses the cutoff man, and some guy wearing number 2 like hustles over and flips the ball over, and we get an out instead of a run scored. Like, there are these moments that happen in baseball where it's inexplicable, I should say. I mean, think about 2019, the Nets. Soto hits the ball in the outfield. You think the guy picks it up and throws it back in. He overruns it, and they get a run out of that. Like, baseball has these moments where the pressure is too much sometimes, or the pressure isn't. It affects the game in a major way. So, like, I can't say, like, I don't have that same faith you have, like, oh, it's just the Dodgers. Let's just go ahead and roll them into the World Series. I don't believe in that. We've seen too many crazy things happen. We saw the Blue Jays in the World Series last year with a kid that came up from Double-A. And Maddie, if you remember his name, I can't think of his name. It's tough to say. It's like TS whatever, but The kid came up, pitched from Double A from the last part of the season, and was starting games in the World Series. Come on, that's not supposed to happen. That's storybook stuff. We can go back to Andrew Jones hitting a home run at 19 in the World Series. We can go back to my guy Miggy playing in the playoffs with Florida and carry that team through the playoffs. Baseball is the greatest unknown. And I know everybody like, oh, we got the Dodgers. Nah, dog. We got the Dodgers. We got the Brewers. Like, we got everybody. Everybody in this. It's the reason why we play the schedule out, especially in MLB.
Well, okay. I mean, I can't deny it. Switching over to the AL.
Okay.
You got the Rays sitting atop the East, the White Sox sitting atop the Central, and the Rangers atop the West. But it looks like the AL is either the Rays or the Yankees to win, because everybody else is under 60 wins. But the Yankees and the Rays are at 62-43 and 60-46, respectively. Yankees are 2.5 games behind the Rays for the lead. But Cody Bellinger is out. They don't know when he's coming back. I think that that kind of hurts my Yankees, because with Judge already not knowing his timetable for return, now you're losing Bellinger, you're losing bats. And one thing we don't have that we used to once have is a great farm system.
No, your farm system's still good. The problem is some of the guys that have been coming up. Yeah. But it's, I mean, but let's think about it. We had a conversation where we thought that Volpe, right? That was the shortstop's name. He's the guy that's supposed to replace Derek Jeter. I mean, I know it's not much pressure when you're trying to replace probably the 5th best shortstop in baseball history, or 7th best shortstop in baseball. No, actually, probably the 10th. No, 11th, 14th. Somewhere, I mean, somewhere low on the totem pole was Derek Sanderson Jeter and his, yeah. But still, Volpe, what? What I do? No, he's not one.
I was letting you know. One.
No, he's not one. No. It's no. I'm sorry. Outside of Yankee fans, I don't know anybody else that says Derek Sanderson Jeter should be one. All I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. But no, you say it's Tampa and what you call it. I think again we're still in the crapshoot, because the way the White Sox hit the baseball, if they can get anything, if Eric Fetty finds his, well, I'm not gonna say fine, but if Fetty gets hot in the playoffs, they've got some pitching there too. But Murakami, they got 2 guys with the same last name. I can't think of their last name right now because it just left my head because I'm 50. I think the AL is anybody's bag. And I think Maddie agrees with me. I don't see this being, because Tampa Bay is, all right. Let's think about, like, Tampa Bay is the team that they're just like the Nationals. They got to line it up the correct way to make it work, and they've masterminded this thing of putting all the chess pieces in the right place and managing wins. They play their way. They have their type. They look for certain things. I think Boston is that way. I think Boston's a tough team. If you get Boston in the playoffs, bring your lunch, bring your hard hat, and get ready to go. Get ready to rumble. I totally think this is I think this is a crapshoot. I keep telling you, this is baseball. Sometimes baseball is baseballs.
Then we got to deal with this hater right here.
23rd. Okay, I was in the area when I got down to 14. Okay.
I need both of you to admit, because neither one of you are Orioles fans, admit that you've never had a shortstop in your team's history that's better than Derek Jeter?
Omar Vizquel. I
What
was
was
an
that?
Indians fan growing up. I was an Indians fan growing up. Omar Vizquel is way better than Derek Sanderson Jeter. Sorry, dog.
Did Omar Vizquel date Mariah Carey? How many World
Yeah.
Series rings he got?
Does dating Mariah Carey win baseball games? I don't think so.
Obviously, it did. This woman wrote a whole album to this dude.
I'm gonna put it to you like this, dog. I'm gonna help you out. I don't know how many Grammys the Jackson 5 won, but let's say they won 4. Tito Jackson got 4 more Grammys than some people out in this world. Just think of it like that. That's all I'm gonna say.
And I'm glad you put it that way. And I'm going to tell you like this. Mariah Carey wrote the whole Butterfly album. It's songs on there that's dedicated to Derek Jeter, and we just found that out 30 years later.
So look, all right. So if you want to do this, I'm gonna tell you to do this for me, all right? I'm gonna tell you to hit the pause button on this conversation. And I'm gonna tell you to wrap it up in a nice little box. But we ain't throwing it in the ocean. We just gonna throw it down to Friday when they get to the freestyle, and you can have that conversation on the freestyle. That's a freestyle kind of a conversation. That's not a Tuesday night flight kind of conversation.
I'll give you Cal, but once Cal, and I say this all the time, once Cal moved to third base, Derek Jeter took over. And when did you become a Orioles fan, man?
Are we talking?
When did you
not
get
know
there?
Ozzie Smith's name in this room?
You say what?
Ozzie Smith. What are we doing here?
Did Ozzie Smith one of you guys' teams?
I'm just talking about better shortstops. I'm sorry.
I love the Wizard of Oz. I really do. I do.
Man, don't even get me started. Because I'd take Tony Fernandez. I think Tony was the shortstop in Toronto and San Diego. Man, don't do this to me, man. You know what? I'm trying to stay focused, KG. Trying to stay focused. But you're over here throwing squirrel in the conversation. You're throwing squirrel in the conversation. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Let's switch gears. Jump over to the NFL.
We did Thursday night, right? Let's before we do that, let's switch gears. Promote some shows on the network. You can do your thing because y'all got like 6 of them. So pick one of your 6. Like I'm looking through the thing and it's like sideline. I mean, WrestleManiacs, and then you got all your little things. That's just Nubian, the Don Rodriguez report, whatever, man. Just pick something related to this WrestleManiacs, and then let's come back and let's close out this last little bit.
Well, we were the first to have intros for everything. I mean, when you're the first. So, yeah.
Don't do this, KG, because you're tempting me to interrupt your promo. So go ahead and play the commercial.
The one that I want is gone. I don't know where it's at, but I gotta find it. I gotta put that back in there. But take this break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
102. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back. Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. The Tuesday Night Flight, brought to you by, well, actually, I'm just going to say hosted by the Midnight Rider and the big guy KG. Here we give you a little trip around the sports world. So I'm glad you're enjoying the flight. Don't forget, because we're in our last segment, so the beverage cart is probably coming through. Get your beverages now, because it won't come back through before the end of the show. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. But with that being said, I think this is NFL with KG, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and take the lead on this. So KG, let's talk about some things. So let's first get I want to take care of some signings first, and then some trade requests, and then we'll kind of work our way into some of the things that are happening in Commanders Land, if you don't mind me doing it that way. So today we got some news. Um, there were a few extensions made, but I don't think any of the extensions that were issued were more important and bigger than the one that was issued to the Philadelphia Eagles' own um, Jalen Carter. He breaks the record for um, signing bonus and all that stuff. I think he's got 4 years for 152 million. It's worth up to 160. 106 million of that contract is guaranteed. It is the richest contract for defensive tackle in NFL history. Also, what happened today was Denzel Ward from the Browns. He got an extension, and then the right tackle for the Vikings, Brian O'Neill, also got an extension. So we got 3 extensions in place. I know the more important one is, well, I think there's 2. I think the Denzel Ward and the Jalen Carter. But I know you want to talk about Carter first. Let's talk about Carter. I'll talk about Ward.
Well, I mean, we knew this was gonna come, but that 106 guarantee, that's a number that is beautiful, man. I'm happy for the young kid. As a fan, I'm happy for him, but as a Commanders fan, I'm like, God damn, we got to deal with this kid for another couple of years. But this is smart money. You lock a guy like that up, and you lock him up for years. That's what you do. So I'm good with that.
Well, it's also coming on. Let's not leave the other part of the haiku hanging out there, because they also extended Jordan Davis earlier this all season. I think his was 124. So, unlike, I'm gonna say it this way, but unlike the Commanders, they actually paid for production, not paid for names. So they're getting dominance, and they paid for the dominance they got, which makes these extensions make more sense. And I think the other thing that Philly has done that is um, smart is they keep drafting ends, so that way they can play. So basically, they know that their money's invested in the middle. But if you keep drafting guys on the edges with potential, or paying guys, on smaller deals, taking chances on guys, um, they can get home, they can win, and you're not paying 17. You're not committing money on everybody in your front four. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a kid that's on a rookie deal playing your left end. Your right end is probably playing on a rookie deal. Then you probably got a guy backing him up that's a veteran free agent that you signed that's playing on a 1 year. And that's the one thing that Philly is mastermind, because they've given themselves elite talent on every level. If you get to their corners where they got I think his name is Tyron Woolen, you got Quinyon Mitchell, you got Cooper DeJean. Like, they've got 3 guys that could be elite corners. Now, of course, Woolen's had some issues with, like staying in the games, and not staying in the games, but staying focused. But still, that's 3 corners that could be playmakers on any other squad and be a number 1 somewhere else. Then you talk about Zach Bond, and you talk about gosh, who's their new middle? It's not the Georgia kid. It's the kid they drafted out of Alabama, DeAndre Campbell. So, like, you've got guys that are playmakers, impact players all across this defense. I think the one thing that's going to be different this year, to be honest with you, Doug, if everything comes together in the way that it might, the NFC East, the defenses, they may be some of the fastest defenses in this league. They may be some of the most ferocious defenses in this league. Because you can put that linebacking core that they have. If Dallas can get Overshawn, I've talked about Overshawn. I think I've over talked about Overshawn, but if he can stay healthy, the kid out of Texas, um, they've got some other options there. I mean, the front four, Quentin Williams. You get the kid Ozaraku from BC if he can play some ball. Then you get Caleb Downs at safety. I think Caleb Downs could be one of the biggest X factors in this season in terms of making a difference on the team. If I had to make a guess on DPOY, he'd be in the conversation. I don't know if he's one or two, but he'd be up there for sure. Sorry, I went in your rant. I apologize.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It pisses me off to see all these defensive signings in the NFC East.
Yeah, I mean, then we didn't even remember, but we left the New York Giants out. The Giants got Arville Reese, you got Abdul Carter, you got Thibodeau. What's the other kid? It's not Brown. What is his name? The dude from Carolina that they got, Brian. It's not Banks. It's Brian. I can't think of Brian's last name, but I know last year he had like 14 sacks. So their team is stacked on pass rushers. And like I saw a stat where like if Abdul Carter had another half a second to get to the quarterback, he would have had something like 11 or 12 sacks. So this could get crazy. If you a corner and you can't cover, go to New York. Because that pass rush is going to be problems. They can hide your flaws and your faults. If I'm what's this, Trayvon Diggs? If I'm Trayvon Diggs, I'm calling John Harbaugh, whatever Harbaugh it is. I know his first initials are J. Whatever Harbaugh it is, the one that don't wear the khakis and the glasses in the bathtub. That one. I'd call him because I'm like, yo, I know I can cover long enough for them dudes either get there or for somebody to throw an errant pass and I can probably pick something off. I know I ain't in my prime, but hey, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's not even just that. I'm looking at the receivers and everything that they got on the offensive side. All they got to do is keep Dart upright. If Scatterbo can come back healthy, you got Singletary as your backup. You got OBJ back. I don't think he's going to be a one or a two. I think he'll be your slot. I like Braxton Berrios, Malachi Fields.
Why do you like Braxton Berrios?
I've always liked him.
Oh, okay. That's one of those. That's just my guy.
Yeah, it's just my guy.
Okay.
They got Juju, Darius Slayton, Malik Davis coming back. Yeah, they're gonna be hard to cover. And then they got my man Isaiah Scam Likely at tight end. They're gonna be hard.
I actually like the other tight end more than I like Theo Johnson. The guy from Penn State more than I like. I think Likely can make it. How do I want to say this? Likely can be like everybody has, I think, kind of in the division, the move tight end, kind of the H-back guy. So I think Theo Johnson's going to do the dirty dancing in the trenches, and Isaiah Likely is going to live on the outside.
You know who Likely reminds me of? Not exactly, but he's in the mold and he could be this. He reminds me of like a smaller Jimmy Graham and a healthier Jordan Reed, where you can put him in the slot and he's going to cause matchup problems.
I don't dislike that comparison.
I don't see him as the Donnie Warren type.
No, he's not going to be that.
As a monster.
Right, so let's go to the next team. So you got, let's talk Commanders. Chig Okonkwo. Who do you have a comp? Because I have a comp.
For who?
Chig Okonkwo, the tight end they signed from Tennessee for the Commanders.
No, I don't have a comp. Give me a comp.
Huh? I lost
I
you
said,
for
give
a
me a
second.
comp. I don't have one.
Vernon Davis.
I don't have a comp.
It's very easy. It's the lazy man. This is one of the laziest comps I will do. You get the Maryland jersey. You get the 85. You get the fact that he's athletic as hell, and he probably runs one of the fastest 40s in the tight end group. I just see Vernon Davis all over it. So I think he's going to be okay. I think Bates is more athletic than people give him credit for. And what I would love to see, this is all right. Hold on, because we're about to talk about Ben Simmons. So let's loosen the arms. All right, bring it in. Now here's a guy. Now, and when he was drafted, they said he could be Kyle Juszczyk or George Kittle. I think the first 2 years they danced with the devil too much in his Kittle stage. I think we got to bring him back more to usage. So I think what they should do is use him as your fullback, your lead blocker on some of these outside zones and things like that. So then when you hit the play action, guess what you hit in the flat when you roll? You're hitting him in the flat, and then he gets to use that athletic ability to go up the sideline or gain you yards, right? And if you're not hitting him in the flat, then guess what you're hitting on the over? You're hitting Okonkwo on the over. And if you're not hitting Okonkwo on the over, then you might have a situation where you bring in Bates from, well, actually, no, I would bring Okonkwo from one side of the field, like they used to do Vernon, and like he goes across like this, like he's going to the right, and then he goes up the opposite sideline while the player's going to the left, and you throw that go route. I just think they got so many things to play with in this tight end room. Yankov, whatever that's his name, I think he's so super athletic. I think they got opportunities and space and opportunity. Like I said, I think this division could be one of the best divisions in football, and I think this could be a division where they cannibalize themselves and they don't have the ability to make like what was it? I think last season the West had 3 teams. I don't think you're gonna get 3 teams out of this division, but I think the one team that survives, because I think it's gonna be a war. Whoever survives this division, I think, can be a favorite in the playoffs because they've gone through hell and high water to get there. I think it's them and whoever comes out of the West. I think that's your NFC Championship game.
Sticking with the Commanders, 2 things.
2 things.
You have Ben Steele was relieved of his duties as tight end coach because of a DWI down in Virginia. Somebody said that the body cam footage had to be pretty damning for them to release him that quick.
Well, there's they didn't release him. I mean, this happened in June. I think it was June 14th. They've known about it. I think through the investigation, and then I think the other part, I think it's the body cam, but I think it's the resisting arrest piece of this. Maybe the body cam shows that there's something more physical. This is speculation, reckless speculation. I'm sorry, but there could be other things in this equation, not predicated on the stoppage that makes this damning. It could be the other things that happen to stop. So I would say that's something you might want to worry about. The other part is he's new. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you don't have anything invested in him. He wasn't here for OTAs and all that stuff because of this situation. You kind of put it in Wes Welker's hands. Your pass coordinator, I can't think of the guy's first name, but his last name is Rye. He was your tight ends coach. So now maybe he comes in and plays a little mentor to Welker, and like they do this as a tag team to get the tag team, the tight end group to the right place. But I don't think you're doing anything. I mean, your tight ends learn from Wes Welker how to run routes or work on routes.
Well, that was my second thing. Wes Welker has moved into the tight ends coach position from offensive assistant. I mean, who Wes Welker is one of those guys that he made a career of getting open in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they were talking about putting this cat in the Hall of Fame. And of course, I was like, hell no. But they were talking about putting him in the Hall of Fame because of how open he used to get in the middle. What do you need your tight ends to do? I need you to get open in the middle and be that safety valve. I need you to be that guy to go up the seam. I think learning from Wes Welker would be a great thing. If Wes Welker was 6'3", 6'4", we wouldn't be talking about him as a slot receiver, the way he runs routes. We'd be talking about him as one of the best route runners in the history of the league.
No. We leave him where he is, 5'8", in the slot. Do what you do. You gotta do what you gotta do, but you don't want to break their heart. But when this turn, when it comes to scoring touchdowns, break their heart all the time, man. And I think the best thing about him, because I don't think Okonkwo has the Jordan Reed shift. I think he's more of a blazer. That's why I compared him to Davis more than Jordan Reed. But he also just he has that ability to understand when you get into space in the middle. You got to know when to throttle it down. You got to know when to go through the zone. Those little things become teaching points. Travis Kelce isn't the greatest. I guarantee you, most of the time, the things that Travis Kelce has caught in the last 5 years wasn't called in the huddle. I guarantee you. If I had to give you a number, I'd say 70% of the passes that Travis Kelce caught the last 5 years was probably an ad lib. Because you and the quarterback know each other. Now, I don't think we're gonna get there, but you can get to a point where, because you have a Wes Welker teaching these guys, all right, this is the points that you want to get to. This is where we want to be. That helps the tight ends on the passing game side. And then Rod can do all the blocking talk, the technique, and all that stuff because it's simple. Oh, and then I don't know if you heard JP today, but what did he say? He says, I blow leave in this David Blau. No, I blow leave in this David Blau offense. So there you go. That's the first one. You see me with a Blau leave T-shirt. Don't say nothing.
Well, I hear you.
Send me size. I'll order you one.
Third thing for the Commanders, this right here. Boss is just so you gentlemen know, Jaden Daniels is 79 overall in Madden 27.
Okay.
This is how I know that the Raiders at Madden have taken time off. They are out to lunch.
No, they haven't. They are factoring in. So the problem I will have, is if Burrows is like a 90 or a 92. The problem for me is Burrows is the one guy that is injury prone, but always escapes all the injury prone conversation. And I don't know how that works. Like, yeah, he went through Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl. But I mean, he's had 3 seasons. He's played 6 years. In 3 of those seasons, he didn't finish the season. So make the math work for me. That's all I'm saying.
Joe Burrow's a 96 overall.
Yeah, I told you. I knew it was. I knew he was. He's always in the top 5 of every quarterback ranking. But Jaden also is in year 3. So he's had one really good year and 1 year where he's been nah. So we gotta figure it out.
And last but not least for the NFL, it's just the NFL as a whole. Fox Sports NFL reporter Henry McKenna gave a list. It's called 7 QBs on the hot seat before the season begins. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Baker Mayfield, Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. I looked at this earlier, and I had to blink 2 times, 3 times, had to shake the cobwebs off my head because I was like, I'm seeing something wrong here.
Hold on, say that one more again.
Bryce Young,
Uh,
C.J. Stroud, Baker Mayfield, Shador
okay.
Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray,
Okay.
and Jalen Hurts.
The only person missing is J.J. McCarthy.
But here's a question. Bryce Young's coming off of his best season as a pro.
Wasn't that
Took
good of a
Carolina
play.
to the playoffs.
Yeah, but still, that running game carried them to the playoffs. This is your decision making year. Like you got to decide: am I committing 50 mil to Webster? You know what I'm saying? When he comes in the meeting room and his feet dangling on the chair and he's swinging his toes because his feet can't touch the floor, you gotta figure it out. Yes, people, I know I'm 5'8" and we're the same height, or he's shorter than he's a little bit taller than me. Just deal with the joke, all right? The fun is the fun. Good God. But no, I just think you gotta like this is the time where they gotta figure out what they're gonna do. Are they gonna invest in him? So that's why he's on the hot seat. I get that one totally.
Okay. He threw for 3,011 yards last year, completed 63% of his passes, went 8-8 as a starter, 23
3,011
touchdowns over 11 interceptions.
3,011 yards. That
Best
that
season
ain't
of his career.
them yards ain't yarding. Yeah, but when you compare them to other people, man, them yards ain't yarding.
I don't.
Who's next?
I can see it, but it's like,
Who's next? You want to go CJ Stroud? Let's go CJ
C,
Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. He's
Um,
next.
he literally pooped the bed and his pants in the postseason. Um, he didn't have a great regular season, and the thing for him is all you got to do is like this is the equivalent of having the Titanic, and all you got to do is don't crash the Titanic. If you crash the Titanic, the boat gonna sink. But if you don't crash the Titanic with that defense they got, just keep the wheels on the road, baby. I don't need you to be dynamic. I don't need you to be sexy. I just need you to just get us there. And I think the one thing that's going to help, because now we're 2 years removed from Tank Dell's leg injury, so hopefully Tank Dell is closer to being Tank Dell than he was last year. Um, of course, you got Nico Collins, who's been healthy and hurt. You got the two Iowa State Jalen's that they brought in last year, so maybe that can help. And then Joe Mixon's retired, so I know they just brought in a running back. So I don't think Mixon is official yet, but Mixon's going to retire
Yeah.
because he can't get that leg right or
He
that
said he
ankle
still
right.
don't have no feeling in his foot.
Yeah.
Now with Stroud was 8-9 as a starter. 3,693 yards passing, 26 touchdowns over 11 interceptions. He plays all 17 games, and if I'm not mistaken, they did not. I'm sorry, I'm talking about Baker. I switched over to Baker. I'm sorry.
All right, let's go Baker because that's even better.
Baker was had the 3,693 yards.
I figured as much because I knew CJ ain't had that much.
26 touchdowns over 11 interceptions. They just missed the playoffs by a game. But you're telling me that Baker Mayfield's on the hot seat? Now,
Yeah,
I can understand Bryce. I can understand CJ. Baker Mayfield, I can't understand.
why can't you? Undersized quarterback stays banged up. You have to worry certain games. I mean, who's their backup? Kyle Trask? I don't know, man. I don't know if you want to rest your laurels on Kyle Trask. I don't think Todd Bowles too happy about that. The problem is they are in a spot where you have a quarterback, but he's in between. He's good. He ain't really good. And I think for them, the problem becomes, if he gets banged up, then you get second half of the season Baker. who was a totally different person than first half of the season Baker. First half of the season Baker had you beaten, I think they beat Seattle in a shootout, like 38-34 or 45-38, something crazy like that. And
Mhm.
if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I know they had a shootout with Seattle early on the season because Emeka Ibuka and Smith and Jigba got busy. But that's all I'm like. You get the good and the bad, and then you get the in between. And then what all that leads into is the facts of life. So you gotta deal with the facts of life. You can't you want to invest more than 30-35 million into a quarterback that's gonna be up and down. Can you ride the wave? Or do you wanna and see this is the part that I talk about is is I think I what did I say this week? I said hindsight is easy, but if you have foresight, it's a it's a gamble. Because I could do the right thing with all the foresight in the world, but the second that plan plays out, hindsight gets the win because they can always beat whatever decision I made to death. So, like
I
the Denny Avdia trade is, and if you had foresight, it makes all the sense in the world. But after the season he just had, in hindsight, now you're like, oh, why are they trading? But it doesn't make sense because you don't get. That's a whole different conversation. But you don't get the Bonsa if you don't get rid of Avdia. Keep it going. Keep the
the
party
next
going.
two I'm gonna lump together, and that's Shador Sanders and Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson ain't played in what 3 years.
2 years,
Shador
I think.
Sanders, okay. Shador Sanders is coming up on his first, possibly his first year as a full-time starter. Again, played 8 games last year, started 7, was 3-4. Only threw for 1,400 yards, 7
Mm.
touchdowns over 10 picks, but he played really well down the stretch.
Hold on. You
Um,
said he had 1,400 yards, right?
1,400 yards, yes,
And he played 7 games, right?
yes.
I ain't the most mathematized guy in the world, but that's 200 yards a game.
Yeah.
I don't think that gives me too much promise. There ain't too much hope. If I'm Todd Monken or if I'm Andrew Berry, um, and I'm paying, and my owner knows that he's still paying uh, Lincoln Heights own Deshaun Watson. You know him as Joe the Policeman from What's Going Down on the episode of That's My Mama. You paying him 48 million. We gotta at least see. Because Shador didn't close the door. That's the problem. You know what he did? He left the door open.
I,
So
I,
so so what he's getting right now is a byproduct of him having 1,400 yards in 7 games,
I'm gonna say
or him
this.
just being a big Bruno Mars fan and leaving the door open. I don't know which one you want to go with.
I'm gonna do like they do on TikTok. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. He played under a coach that did not want him, that did not prep him. Every week, it was in those 7 starts. It was
Sorry.
something wrong in each of those 7 starts. Whether it was the wrong wristband, we changed the plays, whatever. It was something wrong. I keep saying this. Nobody wants to believe me, but when you have a coach that does not want the player, what are they going to do? They're not going to nurture that player. They're not going to try to coach him up, nothing. Same thing happened here because it was a player that the coach did not want. But when he got coached up,
Oh God,
you
no! We
saw
are
a whole
not doing
different
this
thing.
today. Nope, nope. I'm not doing this. I am not going to besmirch the name of a dead man. So let's go something else because I don't want to do this. I don't want to have this conversation with you, KG. Don't want to do it.
That's fine. But I will say this. Shador shouldn't be on the hot seat because you're going to finally, if he wins this starting job, you're going to see what he can do. That's if Deshaun Watson does not play. Now, he could be the backup to Deshaun Watson, and I wouldn't have a problem with that because you paying Deshaun Watson all that damn money, you got to make sure he can play.
Here's what I'm going to say to you. In this
Last but
scenario,
not least,
before you
go ahead.
go on, with this scenario, the problem becomes one or two things. The question that Andrew Berry Todd Monken front office. This is the last year of Watson's deal. You're in year 2 of Sanders. And the thing becomes, if you don't get wild, what are you holding on to? Like there's because neither one of these quarterbacks, the way it looks and the way I feel like it's gonna go, neither one's gonna give you enough to make you say, I like this kid that's coming out of college next year, and I should take him. Well, I shouldn't take him because I feel comfortable with Deshaun because Deshaun's not gonna be there, or I feel comfortable with Shador. I don't think they're gonna do enough. I could be wrong. But I just feel like they're going to take advantage of the fact that they don't have enough elite talent on this ball club to be in the top. So I mean in the playoffs. So I think they're going to live in the realm of not quite tanking, but being bad enough that they got to figure some things out. And starting the season with, I personally believe their 1 and 2 receiver is the Boston kid in Concepcion, because I think Jerry Judy or Judge Judy or whatever his name is straight hot ass and garbage. Um, like he should have maggots forming on his body. That's how hot ass and garbage I think he is. Don't clip that one because that's ugly. That was mean.
All right, last but not least, before we get out of here, and this is what Lee Ice, you stole the words right out of my mouth. Jalen Hurts. Why the F is Jalen Hurts on here and not Dak Cousins? I mean Dak Prescott. I agree wholeheartedly. Why is Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, is the Tyrese of the NFL. It's like, somebody else wins, he goes, congratulations. And then he wins a Super Bowl and they be like, yeah, well, we need more. And he's looking at the camera like, what more do you want from me? And that's the question. What more do you want from the dude? If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he Super Bowl MVP 2 years ago?
Okay. I'm trying to process this the proper way. Here's the reason why Jalen Hurts is on this list. Because for some reason, whatever his relationship with his number one receiver doesn't work. There's conversations in the building that he changes plays. He doesn't want to throw across the middle. That's how he gets on this list. The reason that Jermaine, Tito, Marlon Prescott isn't on this list because he had one of the best seasons last year. His only problem was he didn't have a defense. I think both George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb had over 1,000 yards, and I wouldn't be surprised if their tight end was at like 700 or 800 yards. And I'm doing this off the top of my head, so don't quote me on this. But I think Dallas's problem is not their offense. They just need their defense to have a pulse. And if their defense has a pulse, that offense becomes more and more potent and more dangerous. So I don't understand why you guys think that Prescott should be on here. Prescott is not losing his job no time soon. Anytime he's healthy, they win 12. They used to win 12 ball games. Last year was the first year he was healthy. They didn't win 10 or 11 ball games.
Let me tell you something. Jalen Hurts, every year as a starter, from 21 to 25, he's had a winning record. 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl win, MVP, has the record for highest QB rating. I'm sorry, for completion percentage in the Super Bowl era. Last year, he threw for 3,224 yards, 25 touchdowns, over 6 interceptions, 98.5 rating. And they were 11-5 with him being a starter.
Last year, with all of what you're saying, how many times you hear the people complaining about the Philadelphia offense?
They complained all year.
Okay. So that's one. B, when you get rid of A.J. Brown, there's no more excuses. All the pressure falls where? On you. Now, you can have all those pretty stats, all those pretty numbers, But if it don't work and it don't go the way it's supposed to go, because Philly is one of those places where if it ain't right, I mean, we just talked about this on Unapologetic when we talked about LeBron. The second that goes wrong, or the second it ain't the way the Philly fans want it, they're gonna turn. And they're not gonna turn since you don't let AJ Brown go. Guess where all that heat and that frustration going? Straight to Jalen Hurts. Now the good thing is if they think Tanner McGee or whatever their backup's name is the next great hope, I got words for you, dog. I got words for you. You better off saying that instead of getting that what's the word I'm looking for? Instead of that cheesesteak you get with the Cooper cheese, you say that's not good enough for you. You rather have the one with the cheese whiz. That's the kind of problems you got right now. You eating cheese whiz, second cheeses, and saying they great, and meanwhile you saying the Cooper cheese don't make sense. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well,
How
looking
the
at
hell is the fifth round? Who was the fifth round pick?
Shadul.
He's on the hot seat because they don't have a quarterback of the future. That's the only team that's got more names on the back of a jersey than the Commanders in terms of quarterbacks. So the decision becomes because if Watson, and I can't remember if this is last year or not, but if this is Watson's last year, right? Let's take that in the concept. Watson's last year, so he gone. He gone. You know you ain't keeping Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel better get good at his handwriting and dotting I's and crossing T's and looking at film. So he ain't in the mix. And ain't no way. Come on, Rita, tell him. Ain't no way. Ain't no way they going into next year with Shador as their one if he don't prove nothing. Because they gonna finish in the top 10. I'm gonna be nice to them and say top 10. I think they're gonna finish in the top 2. But they're gonna finish high. And then they're gonna have the problem. They're gonna figure out which one of these quarterbacks they like.
Well,
Because I don't know if Arch is gonna be the guy. Every year we started this conversation with somebody as the number one quarterback. And every year I think we've ended up with several contenders that weren't on the radar or weren't on the screen week one. So that's another question.
well, switching back over to Philly, AJ Brown's gone. You got Hollywood Brown.
Mm.
Uh, you got Mekhi Lemon in the draft. You got
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Then at tight end, you got Dallas Goedert and Eli Stowers in that tight end room. I think he'll be fine. He got some targets to throw to. And you got a burner like Hollywood Brown that can torch a defense. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, but he gotta be healthy and he gotta actually play. And I mean, I know you come out Philly because you know you never skip the beat. Watch Children on Charlotte Street, Jet Black Bands, Plenty of Friends, and all the Philly stakes you want. But back in school, I used to dream about this every day. Um, Back to my regular point as I gone on to the Boyz II Men rant. No,
Keep
dog.
telling Philly.
I just think this team could be like their defense is good enough that they can hide the problems with the offense, and I think that's what they're going to bank on is that whatever this offense becomes, if this line doesn't congeal or get them back to 24 status where Saquon was spinning and reverse jumping over people and things of that nature. I think this team still has the opportunity to be something dangerous. That's why I say I think this division could do the opposite of the West because our AFC schedule is the Colts, Texans, I think it's the Jags and the Titans. So that's not uh it's not a great division, but it's not a bad division. So I think there comes some stuff from that. And I don't know what our NFC I think our NFC may be the NFC not the Central, because we don't play them again. I think we play the.
It should
not
be
the
the
North.
West. It's either the West or.
So if we play the NFC West, that's another tough run because that's the Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and the Cardinals. So there's 8 games that can be potentially dangerous on top of the 6 games that can be dangerous because you're playing inside your division. So that's 14 of your 17 that can give you, in the words of my man Dusty Rhodes, hard times. And the man that left the mic super hot, too hot to hold, too hot to touch. Let me see if I can get him in here. That might have been you. My bad. I got him. Lee Ice, what's up, baby? How you feeling?
I'm good. I tried.
What you tried?
You know me, Midnight Rider. I can only hold it back for so long.
Go ahead. Let go.
I'm not a Jalen Hurts fan. But damn, can we give this man some fucking respect? Can we give this man some fucking respect? The man been in the league as a starter led his team to the playoffs every year. 2 Super Bowl appearances, outplayed the modern day GOAT in Pat Mahomes, and got a Super Bowl MVP. But yet we're saying this man is on the damn hot seat. KG just said, what the fuck does this man have to do? What else does he have to do? And I'm not a fan, but I gotta give this man respect. Because if we had a quarterback here in DC with the Commanders that leads us to the playoffs every single year, and we had 2 Super Bowl appearances, and we won 1, and he played good in both Super Bowls, would he be on the hot seat? We'd be throwing him a damn parade.
You damn right, but this is Philly. But you got to think, the only reason, the reason I say he's going to be on there is because they put AJ Brown. And I swear to you, Lee Ice, I listen to Philly radio. And if AJ Brown goes to New England and he gets loose, oh my Lord. They're going to be up. They're going to be in Philly. They're going to be mad. They're going to be hating. They're going to be, trust me, I listen to them. Like 1 week, they can win.
I listen to him too. And I understand. God bless him if he goes up there and balls out. But you got a quarterback that's led his team to the playoffs every single year. Went to the Super Bowl twice. So I think also, for him to be on the hot seat is crazy. And then when was the last time a 5th round draft pick? All of a sudden we have all these high expectations from a 5th round draft pick? Am I missing something?
No, you're not missing anything. You're missing the fact that he's on the hot seat because you got to pick. Do you want to dance with a 5th round draft pick in the future, or do you want to draft someone at 1, 2, or 1-1? Because you're probably going to draft in the top 5 next year.
How come the other guy who was drafted before him, how come he's not on the hot seat?
Because he's not going to be there probably. You talking about Dylan Gabriel? Ain't nobody worry about Dylan Gabriel.
He was drafted in the 3rd round. You got to think something of him.
No, you don't. You just think y'all messed up.
But you draft a guy in the 5th. You draft a guy in the 5th round, and then all of a sudden you expect all this shit. Come on.
No, they don't expect all or nothing from him because they know. Here's the thought process. If you're the Browns, he could be your backup quarterback for the next 5-10 years. He just ain't gonna be your starter. You're gonna turn the starting job,
and that's good. So how is he on the hot seat?
I get what you. I think the way they're putting in this article, the hot seat is the guys that gotta perform, and for them to be the starters the next season. That's how I look at this. So Deshaun Watson doesn't matter. He's the 5th round. He gotta figure something out because it's either gonna be him or he's gonna be looking at who you want. You want Arch Manning You want what's his name, Dante Adams or whatever his name is. Those are gonna be the guys that's gonna be coming in next year in front of him. Like he's not going to be the guy. KG just said he had 1,400 yards in 7 games. I'm sorry, I'm not holding my breath for some joker that gave me 1,400 yards in 7 games. I'm just not. I don't care if he was drafted in the 4th, the 5th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th. He could have been drafted in the 20th round. It just ain't gonna happen for me. It's not a place I want to be. I don't want to be sitting here singing, "How did you get here?" because I think you should be gone, or somebody else should be in your place because 1,400 yards, that's 200 a ball game. Go ahead, KJ.
He had 1,400 yards in 7 starts because he was not coached correctly. Let's call a spade a spade.
Okay. Okay.
If I bring
what
you
was
into,
his record? What was the Browns' record last year?
It was trash
Offhand.
because they lost Junkins midseason. They were a good defensive team. They gave you a hard time, but they didn't win a whole bunch of ball games. Look,
But it seemed were they in more games with Shador than any other the other
No,
they
quarterback?
were 5-12, and he won 3 of those 5.
And KG say that again.
He won 3 of those 5.
And how many? 3 of
Out
the
of-
5. That's
the
more than
5.
half. I mean, like you said, then I'm not no math. What you say, math? What was your word that you used? I'm no math. I didn't go to Yale or Harvard, but 3 is half of more than half of the wins.
all I'm saying
And I always quote the great Herman: "You play to win the game." And like KG was saying, you're doing this with a coach who don't even want you there. He didn't want your door.
I still hate that narrative, but okay. Okay.
He didn't.
It doesn't matter. You got to still be able to show you can run the offense and play the plays.
Set him up to win.
Think about it. So you're telling me that this dude was so hateful against Shador that he wanted to lose his job and go somewhere else to get another job?
He didn't want him.
I'm not going to
Use his strengths, man. Coach to his strengths. 2014, the Commanders hired a coach and then used the starting quarterback's strengths. Instead, he threw him under the bus every chance he got. But I digress. I mean, that's history.
I'm gonna let y'all have this one because y'all really want me to besmirch the name of I'm not doing this with y'all today. Y'all gonna have me getting hate mail from all of the Ohio State and Bullets fans. I'm not doing this today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it to you this way: it wasn't just Shador, it's not just Haskins. It's several quarterbacks that have been put in a situation where the coach does not want them. And if you know coming into camp that this is your guy, you're going to treat him like your guy. But if you know this is not your guy, whether you just took over and he's not a guy you brought in, you know his ass is gone. That's that. I mean, they're not going to treat him the same. When you inherit a quarterback, it's different. When you draft a guy, it's different.
There have been quarterbacks that have been drafted that figured something out. Tavares Jackson managed to spend 10 to 12 years in this league, and he was never a great quarterback. But you know what he did? He found somebody in the building to hitch his wagon to. And that wagon got him a 10-year career. And all I'm saying is he may not have liked his head coach, but if somebody in that building he could latch on to and teach him the offense and get him whatever because you know what I'm saying, he didn't want him. It doesn't matter if you want him. Because if I can change your mind with my play. And I ain't changing nobody's mind with my play. If in 7 games I can only give you 1,400 yards. Now I give him all the credence and all the grace because his number 1 receiver was Jerry Jeudy. All right, I give you all of that. He may not have had the talent on the outside. He used this tight end, the kid out of not Colgate, Bowling Green. I can't think of his name right now. They had the running back Junkins, who, okay, I give you all that, but I'm telling you, 1,400 yards and 7 starts doesn't do enough to make me move the needle. I think of you as a backup. I just
He won
do.
3 out of 5.
Don't matter. 1,400 yards, 7 starts, 200 yards a game.
So, KG, I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask Midnight Rider, would you rather win ugly or lose pretty?
Oh, here we go with this one. I knew he was going to do this. I've done too many shows.
Which one, KG? Would you rather win ugly or lose pretty?
You know I'm gonna choose winning ugly.
All day, every day.
We only won 5 games.
But he won 3 of them.
5. Now,
He won 3 of them.
This would be a different argument if we won 10. Like if
He
you use
won
this,
3 of the 5.
If you use this in your Jalen Hurts argument, I'd be okay with this. We can win ugly with Jalen Hurts. I get it. I'm cool with it. But
my 5th round draft pick won 3 of the 5 games that we won.
Okay. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. This next season is supposed to be the summer of the draft of the quarterbacks. And all I'm gonna tell you is, unless your boy shows his ass and makes this thing happen, he gonna hold a clipboard in 2027. He gonna be dotting plays out. He's gonna be drawing stuff up, and he gonna be sitting there with the earpiece in his ear, listening to the plays that the coach called. That's all I'm gonna say.
Guess what, Midnight Rider? He should. He's a 5th round draft pick.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, why are we holding a 5th round draft pick to all of these expectations?
We're not holding him to these expectations. What we're holding him to is he's when people say the hot seat, we're talking about people losing their jobs. He's going to lose his job if he doesn't play well this season. Now, Deshaun Watson, luckily, is going to walk out the door, and he got another 2 years to be on the job. But he's not going to be the starter. He's going to be the backup, and y'all got to understand that if he doesn't produce this year, he becomes Tavares Jackson. He becomes the backup, and unfortunately, I don't know if Todd, the OC that's there or the people that's there is going to carry him to their next destinations.
Well, if he becomes a career backup, he was drafted in the 5th round.
But the expectation was him to be taken in the 1st or the 2nd.
But he wasn't.
All right, so now we're changing. We've moved the goalpost from the back of the end zone to the front of the end zone. What are we doing here?
You drafted this guy in the 5th round. So why are you holding him? I'm talking Cleveland Browns. Why are we holding him? You drafted a guy before him to play the position.
We're
hold that guy to the expectations.
No, the expectation we're holding people to is who's the starter in 2027. We're not holding them to the expectation of what can we get from the person we drafted in the 5th round. That doesn't matter. That's not on the table. What's on the table is our future.
Okay. All right, let me rephrase it.
No, you ain't got to rephrase the future.
When has a 5th round quarterback, a guy drafted in the 5th round at quarterback, look at as being the future?
Well, we got
in his second year.
We got Brock Purdy, who was the 7th round pick, the last pick of the draft. He's looked at as the future of the 49ers.
And
I'm sorry, if you remember back in the day, the same draft with Heath Schuler, Gus Rott. If you were the Redskin fan, you looked at Gus Rott as the future. You didn't look at Heath Schuler as the future.
Okay, that was okay. How often does this happen though?
I'm not saying it happens often, but I'm saying it's happened.
How did that turn out for Gus? How did that turn out for Gus Rott?
He had a 12-year, 13-year NFL career.
Not for the Skins.
Yeah, but because the Skins got off the bus because they wanted the next thing. Teams aren't going to invest in marginal quarterbacks to be their future.
So KG, do you think Shedeur should be on the hot seat?
No, not at all. It's too early. We don't really know fully what he's going to be able to do under this new coaching regime. Now, if he goes out there,
shadow him, and they're going to hug him, and they're going to ask him, Shedeur, how do you feel today?
It's called cultivating, Midnight Rider.
If your heart isn't in it, why would I tell you so? I don't know.
If your heart isn't in it, what? No, go ahead.
I don't. You know what? I'm gonna let y'all win.
If this wasn't Deion saying his son, we wouldn't be having none of this shit be going on. You know this, right?
Right, because he moves the needle. Okay. He moves the needle for a certain part of the aspect of this world. And the one thing I give him credit for is he understands that he moves a needle. So he always puts himself in the limelight enough to keep the needle moving. KG, remember you said this is going to be a 45-minute show? Yeah.
I'm sorry, I made y'all show longer. My bad.
No. We was already an hour before you even jumped in.
We was already gone long.
I keep telling them, stop telling me 45 minutes because we know the second we start the show off, it's going to just happen. Go ahead, man. It's on you, KG. I'm going to let you finish this up.
I mean, we come to the end of the show. It's time to wrap that shit up, B. Lee Ice, before you go, final thoughts?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm not a Jalen Hurts fan, but can we please stop disrespecting this dude, dog? I mean, when is it going to stop? You know?
It stop until he's somewhere other than Philly.
What do you...
No, I'm dead serious because Philly's going to always hold him to. Think about the standard they held McNabb to. Yeah. They always felt like McNabb was there. Like they would jump on to Coy Detmer and AJ Feely. Wow. Like they thought they could do, and it's like, yo, what are you doing here?
Well, you Philly fans out there, Philly fan, I dedicate a song to Janet Jackson and Q-Tip had. Don't know what you got till it's gone.
Exactly. That's a great song. I might start my day tomorrow off with that. That's a dope joint. All right. Hey, you might want to.
Thank you, y'all. Thank you for letting me come in and give my 33 cents.
Nah, that's what's up, baby. You know how it is.
The door's always open.
Always.
Yes, all right.
That wouldn't make us sideline junkies if the door wasn't open, man.
Yes, sir. All right, fellas. Peace.
All right, man. Be easy.
All right, Lee Ice. Midnight Rider, final thoughts?
My final thoughts is, you know what? I'm not even gonna go there because I was gonna mess with you, but I'm gonna be cool about this. Let me get Lee Ice out. Hold on. Let me see. Did we miss comments or are those comments that?
Nah, we didn't miss any. There wasn't anything new.
All right, cool. My final comments is, Doug, I keep telling you, stop putting expectations on what we do, man. We exceed expectations. We exceed time limits. All you gotta do is just let it be, man. Just take your hands off of it. It's a gospel song. PJ Morton. Sometimes you just gotta let go and let God. You know what I'm saying? Agreed. And that's what we do here. Is we let go, we let God take us to the directions we want to. Because you and I had no conversations about this show before we started. So for this to be 140, I'm just telling you. Sometimes you just gotta let it be what it's gonna be, because it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and it's gonna be some dope shit. Because that's what we do when we do what we do. So
agreed. So
it's a network, and this is how I'm in the show. ladies and gentlemen, it's the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, right? You can go places, and they may have one good host. You can go places where they may have two good hosts. There's 7 days a week when you come to this network if we are operating at full strength. Every day of the week, and on some days twice in that week, you're getting a good host, you're getting a good companion, you're getting a good panel. So if you want to believe, and I'm not saying Blau leave, because that's for the David Blau fans. Blau leave. But if you want to believe in a network that's going to give you great sports knowledge, great sports information, there's only one place. You need to sit down, pull your chair up. You know, you can get your, you know what? You can go back old school. You can put your TV dinner in your stove for 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Pop the top open, take the saran wrap off, let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes because, you know, that's scalding hot by that time. Whether it's 5 p.m. Monday for drive time, whether it's 7 p.m. on Monday for pretenders or contenders, whether it's 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday for unapologetic sports, whether it's 7:45 on a Tuesday for the Tuesday night flight, whether it's 7:30 on a Wednesday for nothing but net when it comes back, whether it's 7:15 on a Thursday for the Thursday, I'm not going to do it, Thursday night throwdown, whether it's a Friday at 7:15 for the Friday night freestyle, whether it's 11 whenever it's scheduled for the gridiron, but at 9 o'clock it's the Saturday night WrestleManiacs, and whether it's 11 a.m. on Sunday morning with the Sideline Junkies Sunday Rise. It's one thing you're going to get. It's one thing for sure, two things for certain. You're going to get the best out of every person on this network. You're going to get our best opportunity, our best effort. Now, we may not feel like we're going to give our best before we get here. When that light turns on, I guarantee you, you're going to get the best there is, the best there was, and the best there will ever be. We are the Bret Harts of podcasting land. And if you ain't down with that, well, I'm not going to set KG up for that. But I'm done. That's my wrap it up, big.
I can't follow that, so thank you for joining us. That's the Midnight Ride. I'm the big guy, KG. We'll see you on Thursday for the Mount Rushmore episode. Stay tuned. Check your socials for that. Find out what the Mount Rushmore is and get yours in. So until then, we out of here.